Hey guys, how's it going? Daniel again with Bright Line Pavement Markings, and continuing the video series Asphalt Maintenance 101. We went over appearance with the truck. Now, lesson 2, let's talk about equipment. And this is specifically for striping. So I have laid out here 3 machines. Romeo sitting there inspecting in the background. Man, I don't know what's going on today. I can't talk. Ugh. But I have laid out here equipment. This is the everyday stuff that you're going to need for striping. Not necessarily 3 machines, but I just kind of laid these 3 different machines out as an example. We'll talk about these 3 machines and their differences and capabilities and all that stuff. And then this stuff here is like generally what you're going to need for any striping job. This stuff should be in your truck all the time. It should always be in there. And if you ever take it out, make sure you put it back, because you will need all this stuff. And we'll talk about each one of these things. Like, this stuff is all on a list. All my foremen are supposed to have this stuff in their truck, and this stuff is also supposed to be in the, paint van, the truck that, just kind of anybody uses. So let's start off with this. This is a rope, obviously. Layout rope, whatever you want to call it. And this is just, you go to Home Depot and buy a cable reel, get some cotton rope, and we use this for, well, hold on a second, we can talk about this too. So some kinds of layout, I guess this is one way of doing layout. I usually use these if we're like on a really long run, like too long to snap a line. Or sometimes I'll lay out the parking lot with dots and a rope. And basically you just lay this out for your long straight lines. Like, whether you're just marking your tails, you can use this instead of using your chalk line and getting, chalk all over the parking lot. And it's a little quicker. With 2 people, you get 2 people in the groove, moving the rope around with the paint gun. The only thing is, if you're marking anything with that, you want to make sure you're covering up the marking paint with your striping paint. I've seen people mark parking lots with that and there's just dots all over the place. It's not a good look, but very, very useful tool. And in later videos we'll go over using that, like, visually. And you got a paint mixer, of course. That's just a random one from off the shelf. Here's a chalk line. Milwaukee chalk lines are actually really nice. I like the DeWalt ones too. You're always going to need a tape measure, lumber crayon, and a blower. I mean, whether it's gas powered or electric, this one's the 60 volt. It's really cool. It's a nice blower. And it's not all loud. And as you'll see when I talk about that machine, see that little battery? Yeah. If you do get power tools, just make sure you get all like the same brand, whatever brand you like. I like DeWalt. Just make sure you get all the same so the batteries work in all of them. Another thing, tape. We talked about a tape measure. This is a 100-foot tape measure. Another very handy item. And there's your marking paint. This is for that paint gun. And you got black. I usually keep a couple cans of like every color in the toolbox for, you know, just in case. Like black, obviously, to black out oopsies. And then, you know, I'll have white and yellow, red and blue. Like, if you only have one blue square to do, you can do it with a couple, 2 rattle cans will do one. So those are just handy items. Oh, and right here, your tip bucket. Every foreman has one of these. And I like using these cans, the Kim Dip, the carburetor cans, because they have a little tray inside of them. You want to replace what comes in these with like toluene or xylene. See, it's got this little tray. You just pull it up out of there. There's all your tips in there. The rack 10 tips, it's kind of a secret. I might be able to clue you in on that. But we have, you know, there's a few Titan tips in there, which will work in a Graco housing, by the way. And then got some yellow tips and black tips, and like I said, the blue ones. Those are secret weapon tips. But yeah, so that's all your day-to-day stuff. You know, if you're doing new layout, you need these things. And you should have a broom. There's one on the truck, but anyway, so let's get to the machines. Like, I see it all the time in the Facebook groups, and there's other people on YouTube talk about you know, what machine should I use. The first time I see a lot of people get the little tiny Titan 850. And if you really are serious about being a striper and you want to, you know, start a striping business where you're striping every day, one of them little Titan 850s is, sorry, it's just going to be a waste of your money. Unless you only use it for like blue squares or something. But if, I would say the smallest machine you should buy if you're starting out and you're being serious about it is one of these. This is a Graco Line Laser 3400. It's a small machine, but tell you what, like, this machine I've had for since I started. I bought it in 21. Look at all the use it's gotten. I mean, this is the little machine that could. I tell you what, it's painted way more than what it's designed for. The thing with these machines is they are light. You got to go a little slower with them, just because they're light, and it's harder to make a really nice line when you know, you run some, like a rock, a little pebble over, and these machines are so light it might, you know, make it wiggle and stuff. And the pump is smaller. I have had with these machines a few times trouble priming them. If you take this machine out of paint and, like, say you're switching paint buckets, you can have trouble getting it to prime back up again when you put the stinger back in the new paint. One thing I found was just, you know, before I run out, add more paint. But sometimes it can be kind of a hassle to get these things to reprime. And this machine, in like 3 years, I have not rebuilt this pump once. And that's just because I take care of it. You know, you always want to be oiling it, and the packing in here. Sometimes you might have to tighten it. There's like a little nut in here. You take this cover off, and if it starts leaking. But yeah, this machine, as long as you flush it out from time to time and clean the filters, and this machine has been from solvent base to water base to solvent to water to solvent, you know, and the pump's never been rebuilt, and it's put down hundreds and hundreds of gallons. So, and one of these machines, they have gotten more expensive, but if you start out with this, I mean, something like this is gonna cost you between $4,000 and $6,000, something like that, brand new. You can probably get one used for you know, between $2,000 and $4,000. So yeah, I mean, it's a great machine. I love it. It's a little machine that could. And also, something you gotta think about, future expansion. I mean, you can always keep the machine and relegate it to blue square or stencil duty, but after you get a better one like that, but you can't hook a line driver to these. You might be able to fashion something like a hitch, but you would have to like add weight to the front or something, because yeah, you just can't hook a line driver to them. And then here we have this machine. This is basically the same thing, but electric. It's a little bit lighter because it don't have that Honda engine on it. And it runs on DeWalt, the 20 or 60 volt batteries. Flex volt, 9 amp hour. The machine comes with 2 of them. And one battery will do 5 gallons, sometimes more. I guess it depends on a lot of things. But if you always have one battery charging, you'll never run out of battery. Basically same machine, just a little bit lighter, and it's quieter, and it is easier to use. Here's your pressure right here. Here's your recirculating valve, and there's your pressure gauge, and literally you just turn the button on, turn it off. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a couple more of those. They're really cool. We actually won this one from Graco when these machines came out. They had they gave away one at a trade show, and they gave away one online, and this is the online one that we won. Yeah, it's a cool machine. And then over here we got kind of like the industry standard. This is actually the standard series. It's a Graco 3900. It's a Line Laser 5, the newest one, and like necessarily you don't need to buy any of these 3 new. The machine I started with was that one right there, but the very next machines I bought were older rebuilt Line Laser 2s, and I mean, we still have 2 of them. They're at another shop, but they work great. So, and they're like from what, the 90s or early 2000s or whatever. They're old machines. But here's your standard machine, 3900. This one, the newer ones, they come with the hitch mount already and everything. And this is a basic one. I don't have the auto layout or anything on that, just because who needs that when you got a tape measure. And yeah, it's just a bigger pump. It's for more production, right? You hook it up to the line driver and just really cruise with these things. I probably should have brought out I have another machine over there. It's a hydraulic machine. And it's like same size as this one. They are longer and heavier, but which makes them more stable for painting. And it's all mechanical. Like, you got all this electronics. The hydraulic machine's just a valve. Turn it on, and your pressure is just like a screw. Turn it in or out. And they pump smoother. And that hydraulic machine I got for $1,800. Yeah, it was a pretty good deal. Let's see. Here it is. Might as well show you. It's got a new valve on it, and generally brand new they are a little bit cheaper. This one's got paint all over it. But yep, here's your pressure. And here's how you turn your pump on and off. And same thing, here's your recirculate. Pretty simple. Yeah, these are the kind of machines I learned on. It was actually a Titan machine, but they're like heavy. I mean, you get a workout pushing these things around. And if you're on a hill, yeah, good luck with that, unless you got the line driver. Here's another Line Laser 5, and here's another. This is a Line Laser 4, 3900. It's older version, but still works just as good. I put the newer arms and stuff on them. But yeah, so you don't necessarily need new equipment, but there's a lot of machines you see out there, like the 850, or, you know, I see people striping with the little upside down can machine, and yeah, that's just not going to work for you. Like, if you're serious about it, you need something like one of these three. And really, Graco is striping, right, with their equipment. You can never go wrong with these. They are expensive, but they're quality. And these machines are all... If you got paint all over your striping machines, that you're making money. Keeping these things clean is just like... Usually I'll clean them up like once a year during the winter if there's nothing to do. But yeah, I hope that helps you out. You coming over here to do an inspection? He's like, no. And these ones, like, these are a good machine. Either the 3400 or the ES 500. They're good to learn how to stripe on. I mean, they're easy to move around, and but yeah, for the first year, all I used was these 3400s. I had two of them. I ended up selling one, and then because I bought the other two Line Laser 2s, and then I ended up buying two more of those. I think we have 7 or 8 machines now. Yeah, I hope that helps you out in your decision making. And if you start with one of these machines, and as long as you can line up the work, right? Like if you believe in yourself, just go door to door to businesses, just hand out your card. You don't even got to give them a big spiel. Just be like, hey, stop in, hand them your card, and say, I saw your parking lot, looks like it needs some help. If you ever need anything, give me a call. And then walk out. Unless they start asking you questions, you don't need to sit there and talk to them. And in later videos, we'll do videos on the job, showing how these things work and all that good stuff. Until next time, peace.